Hi, I'm Em Rusciano. I'm a writer, singer and stand-up comedian, and perimenopause is kicking my ass. So I decided to do something about it. This is Rage Against the Vagine. Welcome to the first full episode of Rage Against the Vagine, one we didn't plan on. We were going to start with symptoms, science and expert advice, but after hearing from so many of you, we realised we had to begin somewhere else, with the silence. Or more importantly, breaking it. Because what you told us you needed most was connection, to feel seen, to swap stories, to learn from each other, and not just quietly cope. So we're starting with voices from some of my friends and from a few of the brilliant experts you'll hear across the series, to make bloody sure you know you're not f***ing alone.
Mother Nature doesn't hate our guts and thought this will be a real kick in the teeth for the final chapter of women's lives. No, there's a reason behind it as to why it's happening. And I think this is why menopausal health has had such a revolution so quickly, because it's a group of women who can be easily empowered, who are sick of being told, shut up and deal with it.
I used to spend way too long making sure my emails were polite. And now I'm like, yes, no, thank you, can do, can't do. Whereas I used to think people who sent emails like that were I'm just busy.
I wasn't happy. I was struggling. And I think every person going through this right now is struggling because you don't know how to manage it.
But before we dive in, it needs to be said, Rage Against the Vagine is proudly brought to you by What If. It's Aussie for travel. I want to thank What If for backing this project and for being a brand that isn't trying to profit off our hormones, just offering a simple way to take a break, reconnect or reset without piling on the mental load or pushing some miracle cure no one asked for. Beyond What If support, this show is powered by a much bigger force, you, the Rage Committee and the crowdfunders. The ones who bought a t-shirt, shared a post or sent a message that just said, keep going. You've helped build a project that exists to ungaslight, validate, educate and spark real conversations, all while challenging broken systems and offering hope and options to the people who need it most. Thank you. Rage Against the Vagine was recorded and edited on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We honour the cultural strength, sovereignty and resilience of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and acknowledge their continuing connection to land, sea and community. Perimenopause got you by the tits? Or the soul? Or both? Whatever it's grabbing, you are not f***ing alone. I know, it sounds like one of those inspirational throw pillows, but seriously, you're not alone. And it's so important you don't feel alone while you're trying to figure out what the hell is happening to your body, your brain, and your life. I felt alone. So alone, I genuinely thought it would just be easier if I stopped existing altogether. It was like being cast in a play I didn't audition for. Wrong role, wrong script, wrong plot. Maybe that's where lost the plot comes from. Because according to a quick Google rabbit hole, if someone loses the plot, they've lost the thread of their own story. They're acting in ways that no longer make logical or emotional sense, which now I think about it, sounds about right. Caution, losing the plot is inconvenient, especially for people who built their lives around you sticking to the script. Also, fun fact, I work in an industry where ageing is basically a crime, where menopause is a career killer, and perimenopause is something you absolutely do not say out loud. But I'm me, so obviously I did. I started talking to my mates, scratching the surface, and very quickly I realised this wasn't just a natural part of ageing. This was a crisis, a hormonal hostage situation. And no way in hell was I going to white-knuckle it like generations before me did, although the patriarchy loves when we suffer in silence. But I'm not sure it served those who came before us. And look, it's just an inkling I have, but I think there are some mother wounds galore out there. But look, maybe it's just me. So with the help of my amazing GP, a great endocrinologist, and an ADHD-fueled search frenzy, I got my metaphorical oxygen mask on, just enough to stop the spiralling. And then I did what I always do. I turned to my community, because surely it wasn't just me feeling untethered, unmoored, itchy, dry, tired, furious, weepy, wild, invisible. Surely not just me wondering if I'd accidentally become a new person or a swamp witch overnight. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So I assembled a committee of audience members who also wanted to know more, feel more, and understand more. Our Rage Committee. And I asked them for 3 words to describe perimenopause. Just 3.
3 words: fucked, tired, painful.
Annoying, frustrating, and exhausting.
Unseen, foggy, frustrating.
Seemingly unrelated symptoms.
My words are exhausted, enraged, and dejected.
Fucked up, hot, and emotional.
Lost, deflated, and broken.
Confusing, emotional, fucked and funny. I know that's 4 words, but yeah, you get it.
I'll give you a moment because I imagine a lot of those words hit close to the bone. I know they did for me. Then we brought in some of the best minds and kindest hearts, our experts. Legit medical doctors, fancy pants professors, people who really know their stuff. And I asked them the same thing.
Insidious, transformational, and overwhelming.
I reckon now that I'm through it, the words I would use are challenging, fascinating, liberating.
Vulnerability, change, but I'd also say opportunity.
My 3 words would be, personally for me, a fucking nightmare.
It's actually really hard to think of just 3 words to describe perimenopause. Every woman does have a different journey, but what the fuck was probably the best I could come up with.
Honestly, it was kind of thrilling hearing these doctors, professors, and legit legends at the top of their game swear and share their exhaustion. They see us. One who really sees us is Dr. Yvonne McCartney from Menopause Health Geelong. She's a GP with a diploma in obstetrics and gynecology and a special interest in menopause, such that she is the partner in Geelong's first dedicated clinic. Dr. Yvonne came recommended by the Rage Committee, and when I asked her for 3 words to describe perimenopause, one of them hit especially hard in the first episode.
And when I was sort of reflecting about my 3 words of how to describe perimenopause, certainly one of them was isolation, because everyone thinks it's just them. God forbid I'm not managing, I'm not coping, because we've been told time and time again that you must and that there's no other way to do it. If you're not coping, you're failing.
Exactly. What are your 3 words, being on the front line?
Hectic. I didn't want to take that away from women. As I said, the second was isolation, but I wanted to put more of a positive spin on it. The third one was a re-emergence.
Yeah.
Because these things are happening for a reason. Like Mother Nature doesn't hate our guts and thought this will be a real kick in the teeth for the final chapter of women's lives. No, there's a reason behind it as to why it's happening.
Yeah.
And I think this is why menopausal health has had such a revolution so quickly, because it's a group of women who can be easily empowered, who are sick of being told, shut up and deal with it. Like from the very first time they get their period, they're like, shh, have a tampon, don't talk to me about it ever again. And now there's these women who are like, you know what, I want to talk about it. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm not going to like go around everybody to make them happy. I've had enough.
I can't believe this. It's all I want to talk about. Truly. Yeah. It's all I want to talk about. And I'm looking around at, people who came before me, and I'm like, why did you talk about it? And obviously lots of people were, but not in a way that was reaching my generation, because there was no social media, obviously. And also the idea of menopause was, that one day where it's been a year since your last period. Menopause is one day.
Yeah.
One day in your life. So when you have a woman come to you and you do see that her mental health is obviously bottoming out, you would obviously also see how that is infiltrating her entire life.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and her entire community as well. Yeah, her entire life. So she's struggling to go to work, actually literally waking up to drag herself out of bed to get to work. And when she gets to work, she feels overwhelmed by what is expected of her and doesn't feel like she can give anyone context as to why she's feeling this way. But outwardly, it does look like she's not doing her job well because she's got this burning hot flush, or the brain fog is causing her to have to think of things differently or do workarounds, right?
Dave in accounts breathing is making her rage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The chewing. No. But also it's causing a huge disruption in the household. Like her kids don't understand why mum's flipped the lid straight away. And they see the flipping the lid. They don't see the crushing guilt that woman then feels immediately after for just losing her mind to her child. And then, of course, whatever relationship they're in, they feel like they can't stop picking fights.
Yes.
And why can't I just be agreeable? Which obviously isn't always a good thing, but sometimes is needed to smooth things over.
Totally.
And then not sleeping, like the whole kicker. Like there's a reason why they use sleep deprivation as a torture. It just ruins everything. And so it just permeates throughout their life. And then, of course, you're reaching for maybe less nutritious food. You're not worrying about self-care, exercise, all that sorts of things. And then the number one killer of women is cardiovascular disease. So we've just back around to that.
God, it's hard not to feel hopeless. And I'm going to stop myself right there because you're going to hear a lot from me over the course of this series, but I don't want it to become a lecture, just my voice banging the "you're not alone" drum. You told us loud and clear that you're desperate to connect, to share, and to learn from each other, not just quietly cope. So before we dive into the science, the symptoms, and the broken systems that were never built with us in mind, we wanted to start here with stories from some of my friends, women working in industries where they're absolutely not supposed to talk about this stuff, but they're done suffering in silence too. They're powerhouses in their fields. But more than that, they were brave enough to lend their voices to this project, to shine a light on this perimenopause chaos, to help us ungaslight the whole damn thing, and maybe to make you laugh, cry, or both. We had long, honest chats, and I think you'll want to hear the full versions one day. But for now, I wanted to kick off with a kind of rapid-fire group therapy session, a series of moments with some of my mates, so that you know, without a shadow of a doubt, say it with me, you are not alone. Let's start with Lizzy Hoo, comedian, writer, brilliant human, and well, very honest. Like, very honest. Here she is in a bit she calls I've Lived Enough, which, look, yeah, it's a big mood.
I get it. I totally get it. I'm 41 and I think, I've lived enough. You know, I might want to go to the Galapagos Islands, but I've got enough stories for an obituary. Let's wrap it up.
There is a feeling like you are 41, and there is a feeling when you discover what's in store for us. It's like, so the next third of our lives, you're telling me, is just a slow disintegration. Our body's on fire. It's eating itself. And we're all just meant to be like, cool.
Cool. Yeah, fun. Yeah.
Now we can't make babies.
Yes, to the death.
But it does feel like that's society's attitude toward us as women in AFAB.
Yeah, I think you get to your 40s and I don't know, do people just, they do start ignoring you.
100%.
You become really invisible, which I like.
Sure.
I'm into that.
Don't lie, you're a performer.
I think this is the first generation that's coming through and saying something like our mums just grin and bear it like they did
everything.
Yeah, they did everything like that. And you might have heard the word menopause and you might have heard or seen mum bring home a bag of soy and linseed bread and that was like the indicator.
Okay, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. We do. Yeah, but also I guess they didn't have social media to gather en masse and compare symptoms.
Exactly.
We do.
Yes.
And that's been the biggest shift because I know there's a lot of women, and I do tip my hat, who have been saying, I have been screaming about menopause since the dawn of time.
Yep.
And no one wanted to listen because everyone wrote it off as an old lady problem. But I think for me, definitely, and I don't know if it's the same for you, perimenopause is not something I've ever come across or been told about until last year.
Oh, yes. Like I've just because of my socials, I think my algorithm definitely has kicked in. Thank you, algorithm.
Thank you, algorithm.
But yeah, I'm starting to learn, and my friends, we talk about it. We talk about everything, the most disgusting stuff. We always have, even through school, like some of my schoolmates, we always used to talk about stuff.
You went to an all-girls school, though.
Yeah, and all-girls, we talk like
guys,
tiny
women
little
talk.
change in your bodily fluids. Every girl is talking about it.
I love that.
Yeah, I know. We were very open and like perimenopause.
Pre-internet, all you had was Dolly Doctor and your friends.
Yes, exactly.
When did you first notice something was changing for you?
I think definitely the spikes, in my cycle are so sharp. Like they're so clear. Like I know when I'm ovulating because it's almost like PMS and then I feel it and I'm like, and then honestly 7 days out from my period, it's like a switch in my head and suddenly someone pisses me off or something happens and I'm like, I get out my cycle app. What's it at? Oh, 7 days till my period. I am clockwork. I've always been pretty clockwork with my cycle. Like it's always been on time and everything. But I just know it's just like, boom,
Extremes
yes,
now.
extreme. The last few months, my hair's not curly anymore.
Is it thinner? Mine was falling out in chunks.
Yeah, it's definitely thinner because I've got a little scar there.
Yeah.
And my hairline used to be way closer to that scar. And now I'm like, oh God. And you know what mums are like? My mum said to me, what's happening to your forehead?
How have your moods been in the last year?
Moods spiky again, like up and down. I'm lucky I live by myself, so I don't
and your
notice.
beautiful dog.
And my beautiful doggy, but I could never be angry at him.
No.
But I guess I'm not noticing the moods. When you're with living with other people, you notice it more because you're like, oh God, what do you got to do
I've
that
heard
for?
about
What
it.
have you? Yeah, you would know.
I've heard whisper.
5 people house.
Yep.
But yeah, so by myself, I'm okay. But I do know, like when I'm interacting with people, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
You're still only 41.
Yes, I am.
Something happened to me at 45.
Okay,
And
put
I
in the
was
diary.
Letting it out with anyone who made eye contact, whether they'd done anything or not. The veil dropped. My
Yeah.
ability to tolerate the dickhead behaviour.
Oh, yeah.
It just went. And the veil was pretty thin before that.
Yeah.
Wait for my dementia era.
Oh.
That's going to be, the podcast about dementia is going to be hectic.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it.
Now, did perimenopause come up at all for you in childhood, ever?
God, no. I remember vaguely menopause and obviously mum going through it because she had me at what 38, 39.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
You're a peri baby.
Yeah.
She would have been in peri.
Yeah, and she told me recently that she sort of started to go through she was calling it menopause. I don't think she even knows what perimenopause is. In her early 40s. And I just remember us like fighting. Can you imagine? My brother was a teenager as well. 2 teenagers and
your brother is, let's say, highly spirited.
That's a nice way of putting
it. Yeah. So your mum
He's full on.
Your mum's in the throes of a hormonal hellscape.
Yeah.
Dealing with him.
And
you would have been
I
perfect.
would have. I was an angel.
You were an
I was
angel.
a placid.
You are.
It was just me and Dad just looking at each other across the dinner table going, what is going on?
Did you notice a shift in your mum's personality? Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, she was very, I was quite sad for her because she was I felt like she was quite angry and depressed probably and just couldn't cope. And we couldn't touch Mum's soy and linseed bread.
So she'd obviously read somewhere.
Yeah, it was too expensive. No, that's my bread.
And she didn't tell you why?
No, but I remember my friends and I discussing it, and we'd be like, oh, your mum's on the soy and linseed? Oh, yeah, apparently. And then we'd discuss it and we figured out it was like a menopause thing.
It's like the bread equivalent of a hormone patch.
Yeah.
Your mum's on the soy and linseed.
Just a big loaf, big slice of bread on her arm.
Pretty much. If men's testosterone fell off a cliff at 50, they'd be able to plug in.
Oh, my gosh.
They'd just be able to plug in somewhere
yes.
and the testosterone would flood back
They'd
in.
have like little Tesla charging
100%.
stations across the city.
Just be standing there just jacking up again.
Dicks in the
100%.
socket.
Dick plugs. just like glory holes, but for testosterone.
I know.
Okay, so yes, there's rage for women and the prospect of testosterone, dick plugs and other medical advancements for men. But I want to bring us back to where this hits so many of us hardest, our mums. Because perimenopause isn't just something we're going through. It's something we witnessed without really knowing what we were seeing. And for Lizzy, like so many of us, it's complicated.
I think she's blocked that part of her life out. I reckon she did because, like, teenage kids, working, going through menopause, she's just deleted that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Control-Alt-Delete on that one. We'll put that file into the trash.
My biggest fear is my children only remembering this time.
Yeah, and because it's such a formative time, like you're going through high school and stuff. Yeah. God, I remember it. Those fights that we had.
That's all I remember about my mum.
Oh, well, they were epic.
Yeah.
They were like, slam the door.
Yep.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that. I'm sure I called my mum that several times.
I did.
But she just changed. Like it was the most hectic, and it was like somebody else moved into our house and I just didn't understand. And now I understand, you know, and I also, I hold a lot of trauma and anger around that time towards my mother because I didn't understand what was happening for her because they just didn't talk about it. And now I find myself having a lot more compassion for mum, but that butts up against the trauma and anger I still feel about how she treated me as a teenager. So, you know, having to reconcile that with, well, she couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this has happened to you yet, but sometimes I just leave my body and I watch the way I'm behaving or feeling and I can't control it and I know why it's happening. And that's been the biggest distress for me is being out of control of my body. I feel unmoored.
Yeah. I think for me, it's everyone's pissing me off. I can't concentrate. I can't I'm like, I'll start and then I'm doing this and nothing's good enough. And nothing is like, I'm just getting so frustrated with myself. Like I know, and just like nothing I do can be like I'm like down on myself because I'm like, oh, you forgot this or you forgot that or this isn't good enough. But I think I just resigned to it. And now one of my mechanisms.
Yes. Talk to me about your mechanisms.
I have a little whiteboard in my kitchen and then I just like write down the things that I want to do today.
Oh, I'm the list queen.
Yeah, I hate lists, but this is like
I make them,
working for me. Yeah, I lose them.
I unload.
That's why I got to put it on the the whiteboard.
I love that.
And then my friend's little kid, she's so cute, Millie, and she always says to me, "Get it, sis." And I've got my little "Get it, sis" quote from Millie on it, which is so cute. And then I've just got my things. And if I get like majority of those things, I'm like, yeah, girl, you got it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, Millie gets it. And so does Ella Hooper. You might know Ella as the lead singer of Killing Heidi, but in recent years, she's been doing some serious soul work. Writing, reflecting, levelling up. And in her solo track, Oh My Goddess, she puts words to something a lot of us are only starting to grasp.
I already feel like this era, 42, is just cracking me open, coming out of a bit of a grief storm, making some big hard changes, but I feel so excited. On the flip side, I know something good is happening, like something very right is going on, as well as a lot of annoying hard shit.
This is what so many of us are feeling. Cracked open, reshaped, ragey. Not just because of what we're carrying now, but because we've seen this play out before. Ella doesn't have kids of her own, but she knows this story because she lived it with her mum, a beautiful and generous woman who gave everything until there was nothing left to give. And now, Ella's in her 40s, trying to do it differently, still feeling the pull.
All of the systems are built around you doing it, and we believe it, or we embody it and go, no, I should, because like the matriarch mother of the
society, it's what's ingrained in us, and you're a failure if you don't do it.
Yeah. And obviously, like when that does feel good and nice and natural, it feels good.
Sure.
So part of that person also wants to continue playing that role, because traditionally, if you're lucky, it's been a success and it's felt good for you too.
But sometimes you reach 50, or you reach where I'm now, 46, and I look back, and at the time I thought it felt good, I realised I was betraying myself. As well.
How interesting.
It's like the duality of it felt good, but I was also betraying myself.
Yeah. So that is something for me to mull over. Like where and when, if I map that for my mum, I do think I should have said, I saw signs where I was like, what's in it for her? Oh, were we taking too much? But we just built all of our structures around her providing that all of the time.
I had never even heard the term perimenopause, and especially being in our industry, anything that associated me with the word menopause.
Yeah, anything to do with aging. It's like stay away, stay off it. Especially in our showbiz, in our community. No way.
Tell me about some of your weirdnesses.
Okay, so the weirdnesses are, I feel the fatigue. Oh, yes, I feel the fatigue.
That one is like in your soul. It's like no amount of sleep.
No.
Yeah, I felt
no.
that.
And weird sleep anyway.
Tired.
Exhaustion. Sore, obviously more sore, joint pain, but like, also I haven't really done my exercise. I deserve it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, you don't deserve it.
But I don't do shit all exercise. Or
That's
stretching.
Okay, but you're noticing things are...
Yeah. I used to be able to get away with everything. Yeah. Now I can't.
Yeah, okay, so So that's 3.
And the main one, right on cue, I was like, what's the main one?
Brain fog.
Lol. Inability to access words quickly, specifically. I wouldn't just call it brain fog because I'm sharp.
No, my vocabulary went
vocabulary
issues.
But
also just forgetting shit straight away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like straight. But I can still recall some obscure fact from 1985. But do I know where my keys and wallet are? No. Fatigue in your bones, fog in your brain, words stuck on the tip of your tongue, keys nowhere to be found. Ella did the right thing. She went to the doctors, a proper women's clinic, got the bloods, asked the questions. But like many of us, what she got back was mostly science, numbers on a page at a point in time, no real room for the anecdotes or the weirdness. Ella's experience might not look exactly like yours, but my God, it's relatable. Because you would represent 8 out of 10 women, where you're like, no, I had bloods, I'm young, I'm not. And then you're like, but actually the sleeping and my body and
the breakups.
And the breakups and the sudden shift in my sudden inability to put up with dickhead behaviour.
Oh, my God. Yep, that's right there. That's coming up loud and clear. Even the way I write emails has changed. So
love you.
But again, some of that I wasn't quite sure what's to do with grief, like what's to do with like I don't fucking care anymore, because, losing both parents will make you not sweat it with your email etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
I used to spend way too long making sure my emails were polite. And not just that, but like, blah, 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 whatever. And now I'm like, yes, no, thank you, can do, can't do. Whereas I used to think people who sent emails like that were cunts. Yeah. And now I'm like, I'm just busy. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Girl.
And that has happened like only in the last 6 months,
You're
really.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So we're joining some dots.
Not so many more XXX. Cheers.
So yeah, we stopped smiling in emails. We stopped explaining ourselves. But the pressure to keep it all together, that runs deep. Ella's been unpacking where that comes from. And it's not just hormones. I really had to do some big work on the misogyny that I've absorbed from being in the entertainment industry for 20 years in this country.
Sign me up.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like a bit of your, I don't think it is like that. Do you think it's?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think you're speaking truth. I think me having slight resistance to saying, yes, I'm in perimenopause, would not be surprised if the real nub of that was internalized misogyny. Because what isn't?
Exactly.
What the fuck isn't in our society?
Exactly.
And in our showbiz career, holy shit.
All of it. And then when you think about how much the internalized misogyny put there by the patriarchy holds us back from stepping into our power in every aspect of our life, even taking control of our health.
Yeah.
We won't even, like, I would barely acknowledge that I needed hormone replacement therapy because the patriarchy made me believe that if I acknowledged that, then I was somehow less of value to society. But in fact, when I actually finally did get on the hormone replacement therapy, I was more powerful.
Everything
they
went
don't
crazy.
want me to be more powerful.
No, they don't. I mean, I think it's about this, the whole thing, and this is the tinfoil hat. It's not a tinfoil hat thing, but it is, but it isn't. It's by design.
100%.
It's all by design. It's to keep women from entering their crone era.
And when we enter our crone era, when we have the most to give, we are devalued by every sector of society. Quick pause to labour a point. You are valuable, even if the patriarchy is doing its best to convince you otherwise. The crone era isn't a crisis, it's a calling to retreat, to rest, to get quiet enough to hear yourself again. Whether you vanish solo into the forest or do what I've done in this episode and gather your coven for a group therapy weekend, snacks, swims, tarot, the works, whatif.com has your back. They've got everything you need to plan your kind of break. Cabins in the woods, coastal retreats, off-grid escapes, group trips, solo stays, all in one place. Think solid deals, relaxing activities, easy search tools, and even a discount code waiting in the episode notes. From the bush to the beach and everywhere in between, you're only a what if away from a rest and reset in one of many beautiful spots across Australia. What if? It's Aussie for travel. We've seen Melissa Leong on MasterChef, Dessert Masters, and in magazines. But what she's opening up about now is more personal and more real.
So I'm 43 years old and I think around 41, 42, I mean, I deal with things like brain fog because of burnout, and all of these symptoms are like they dovetail into other things. So it becomes very confusing because where does one stop and the other one start? But I think around that 41, 42, I started to think about the way that I was feeling. We think about quality of life as being a really important thing. I want to live the best quality of life I possibly can. And I started to think about the different things I was feeling that were less than ideal. And when you start to add them up, I think, okay, maybe I need to address this. And I had spoken to a friend of mine who's in her early 50s, and she had she's been speaking to this amazing endocrinologist, and she said, okay, you need to get an appointment with her. And I thought, even if I am at the beginning of it or if it hasn't started yet, it doesn't really matter, but I need someone to hold my hand through this.
And education.
I need someone to tell me that I'm not crazy, that these things can be managed, and I don't want to do any guesswork. The zero fucks factor, bring it on, because I think especially women struggle with people pleasing, and people pleasing is motivated by lots of different things. Some people it's trauma, some people it's just, they like to keep things really nice and smooth. And I've been a chronic people pleaser for a big chunk of my life, and it has not served me well. And so in this particular phase of life where less fucks are given, I find it quite liberating because I'm just like, nah.
Has it affected your interpersonal relationships?
I wouldn't say so. I would say it's been a really positive thing because I've been a long time admirer of people who can hold their boundaries high. And I know, again, boundaries is a word that we use a lot these days.
It's important.
And sometimes we overuse it. But I have let a lot of people in my life step on me. And now this is a phase of my life where I said, no, thank you. I'm not doing that.
Melissa's been through it. The identity shifts, the boundary setting, the letting go. And yeah, it's been messy at times, but she's come out the other side actually feeling proud of herself. Because this stage of life, it forces a kind of honesty. And what she's realising now is, even when the details are different, a lot of us are feeling the same things. Melissa's been thinking about what we share and what we keep to ourselves.
there's so much commonality, but there's so much that's particular to who you are and the community you grew up in. How do we share the benefits and, of that learning, but also how do we learn from one another in order to rise together?
And if there's one person who knows how powerful sharing can be, it's Myf Warhurst. You probably know her from radio, Spicks and Specks, or hosting Eurovision, but more recently, Myf became an accidental poster girl for menopause in the ABC series The Truth About Menopause. She was the first industry person from my generation that I had seen speak about it. It was brave to do so when you work in an industry where you're simply not allowed to age. And she actually didn't want to at first.
My instant response was, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. I was like embarrassed, ashamed. I'll be the menopause lady.
Yep.
And then I took myself away and I had to think about why. There weren't as many conversations around menopause when I was asked. And I was like, why am I ashamed? Why is there this deep shame about this period that I'm coming into? I hadn't hit it at that point. And I thought, shit, if I'm feeling it, and I'm a very educated, middle-class, white lady who's very, very privileged, and if I'm feeling this embarrassment and shame around it, then this is happening to everybody else, regardless of where they're coming from. In a kind of, my experience in a Western culture, women are told to be ashamed of ageing. And I thought, I've got to actually do this. And also because I know nothing about it at that point. And so I thought I can do this. I went in and I learnt so much and I realised so many things. I had no idea what I was in for because, 2 years later, I think I went in going, oh, this sounds fun, and I'll come out the end and I'll give less fucks and it'll be great. And I'm like, oh, God, it's been so different. But that basis of knowledge, that really smart, clever, science-based knowledge and understanding of what's going on in your body and what you can do about it was really essential for me. And I just hope that what I want to do with my life is either, have fun and make people laugh or, give them enjoyment or help them. And I hope it helped.
That's why episode 2, What the is Perimenopause, is all about understanding what's actually going on in your body. Like Myf said, once she had that knowledge, everything started to make sense. We've lined up some incredible doctors and researchers for you to meet too. But for now, here's Myf sharing her biggest learning.
All of this process has made me realise the amount of work that women do just to keep things ticking along all the time.
Full-time job.
And I'm sorry, but perimenopause and menopause makes you realise it and you go, oh, I'm just not going to help with that as much as I used to anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. So,
I love
maybe
this era of Myf.
Yeah.
I just want to say, this is my favourite era of Myf.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like her too because I've never known her.
No.
Well, I've known she's always in there, but I've never known, the depths that she can go to in terms of being an utter mole and having firm views about everything.
It wasn't always a life of blissful moleness for Myf. Turns out, before you can boldly enter your unfiltered mole era, there's usually a bit of chaos, confusion, and pain to crack through first. For Myf, it started in a high-pressure job at a time where her body and brain started behaving inconveniently.
Yeah, I was 45, I was in radio and it was a very high-pressure job and it was daily.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, we've been there.
I've heard rumours.
Yeah, and I was so anxious some days I didn't want to go on air. I felt like I couldn't go on air. I've always been anxious, but I'd never had so much anxiety in my life.
Which station were you at?
It was ABC, right. ABC Local.
Yeah.
And my job was to talk and I felt like I couldn't talk. I felt it was horrible.
I felt like dementia was setting in.
Yeah, the brain wasn't working like it should.
I was reaching in for stuff normally I could just touch and, yeah.
It wasn't there. Like the bucket's empty. And it was terrifying. And I didn't really know what to do. I was coming out in hives all over my body as well, itchy. And I even went to a naturopath and my naturopath was a woman.
And she didn't think about hormones.
At one point mention, well, we did all that, but we did allergy tests and things.
Right.
But now I know that that's a symptom.
Yeah.
as is heightened anxiety, as is
sleeplessness. Yeah, joint pain.
Yeah, but then, you know, you do other things to get through it. You drink a lot more and you feel worse and that adds to the anxiety. So it was just this merry-go-round. I didn't even really think about perimenopause or menopause until, well, the year I did the doco, 49. I wish I'd known a lot earlier because it was going on everywhere throughout my body.
Same.
Yeah. I wasn't happy because I was struggling. And I think every person going through this right now is struggling because you don't know how to manage it. It's sad where the hole I feel like I was in, yeah. And you don't know it until you're out of it either.
When you say you're in a hole, give that language. How did that show up for you?
Not understanding what to do because my body was out of control, not understanding how to regulate any of my emotions because my hormones were out of control, not understanding why everything I'd presented to the world was really difficult to present.
Yeah, the mask.
Yep, so much.
Couldn't show up as the person you'd kind of created.
No, and didn't want to show up as that person anymore because I just couldn't maintain it anymore.
Yeah.
But that's where the clarity comes in. It's a real reckoning. You work out a lot more who you are because you can't hide behind the bells and whistles anymore and the
bells and whistles
and the shiny because they've all gone.
They're gone. The bells and whistles might fall away, but what's left is real. Clarity, peace, energy for the things that actually matter. Getting there isn't always easy because there's grief, loss, and the shedding of what no longer serves. But Myf reckons it's totally worth it.
Yeah, no, there's happiness at the end of it, I think, because you know a bit more about what you want.
Yes.
And you cut out the extra because you need to protect your peace, because you need the energy to be able to do what you enjoy doing well.
You've just met some of my good mates, and I hope you're already feeling a little less alone and a bit more comfortable speaking up about what you need. We're not suffering in silence. We're leaning into the overshare, and I am so here for it. I kind of hope it felt like a group therapy session, really. And in closing, we'll ask Myf, our accidental menopause poster child, to tell us how to get through it. Especially because it's a great segue to Ep 2, what the is perimenopause? Myf, I'm so sorry to pull you away from your swamp witch life. Please close this episode with your final piece of advice.
Just go to the right people, get help, lose the shame, be honest about what you're experiencing, and if you get people around you who you can be honest with. And maybe this is the time, it's the portal whereby you're allowed some grace.
Next time on Rage Against the Vagine, we explore what the is perimenopause. Spoiler, it's not just hot flashes.
We have hormone receptors, estrogen and progesterone receptors, in every tissue of our body. So it really isn't just a waist down problem.
In the modern world, being a woman is a traumatic experience.
Back in the cave lady days, but we were all dead by 35.
Correct.
Right?
Dead.
We didn't outlive our ovaries. I don't think it's natural at all.
Thanks for listening to Rage Against the Vagine. We're all learning together. And while this isn't medical advice, we hope it helps you ask better questions, feel less alone, and find the support you need. If you're worried about anything you've heard here, please talk to a healthcare professional. Your story matters, and you deserve answers. This has been a Down the Hill Studios production, created and voiced by me, Em Rusciano, with my incredible team. Executive produced by Tara Carlon, edited and composed by Ezekiel Fenn. Rage Against the Vagine is made to be shared, replayed and used as a resource, especially by those who need it most. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, rate and leave a review. It helps us reach more people who need to hear these conversations. And if you share it, please credit us and keep the conversation and the productive rage going.
Release the rage with Emsolation.
What a tease!
Woo!
Get even more Em Rusciano.
I've been auditioning gynecologists for the girls.
Auditioning by going to them themselves?
I haven't literally been going in and saying, here you go, here's one that's at ground zero. What can you do for it?
And her best friend since she was 11, Michael Lucas.
I do not think it's the best soundtrack ever.
Frozen 2 is the superior Disney soundtrack.
For me...
Beauty and the Beast.
No.
Oh, I was wrong.
Has to be The Little Mermaid because
I see you.
Part of your world unmatched. But then also Poor Unfortunate Souls. Untoppable.
Under the Sea.
The opening number, Fathoms Below.
The Triton, great father who loves us and names us well. I mean, you can't beat that.
Another brilliant number.
Les
Poissons.
It's not just a podcast.
We didn't even get to talk about how high-cut JLo's leotards were at World Pride.
It's a community.
A little bit more feminist.
Equality has been achieved.
Emsolation with Em Rusciano.
Sadly, I could not play a high school student. Apparently.
That's certainly not what I think.
Every Thursday on your favourite podcast app.